Hello, today we're going to talk about the phylum Arthropods. They contain about 1 million species, and the population in numbers is about huge, 1 billion individuals at any given moment. So 2 out of every 3 organisms known are arthropods, which makes up 80% of the known animal species. Okay? They have bilateral symmetry. Okay, again, I talked about their success, how many species there actually are, and how many individuals are in their population. They have what's called an exoskeleton, which is an outside skeleton. It is made up of chitin, and it gives the soft tissue support and protection. When you squash a bug, you're actually squashing the exoskeleton. It will also provide a point of attachment for muscles. It prevents water loss. Okay, and again, chitin is a strong, flexible polysaccharide. So they do have to molt, and that means that they shed their exoskeleton periodically. So after an animal molts, there's a short time before the new exoskeleton hardens. The animal will grow during that time and is temporarily very vulnerable. It is very expensive as far as energy terms go, and it is under hormone control. The size of the arthropods is pretty much limited by the weight of the exoskeleton, and terrestrial arthropods are limited by their respiratory system. So, some generalities of arthropods. They have segmented bodies. These bodies are fused together into distinct body regions. All arthropods have joints between their body segments, and all have jointed appendages. They have muscles to move the joints, they have arms, legs, antennae, they grow out of the body. They can be used for walking, feeding, sensory reception, defense. So arthropods means jointed, okay? Jointed feet, really. Okay, so some systems. They have an open circulatory system. The blood is pumped toward the head by a heart into the aorta. Aorta is the only vessel in the body, but the blood is going to enter into the cavity of the arthropod. It's going to flow through some arteries and pass into spaces that surrounds the tissues and the organs. It moves into the spaces surrounding the organs. The blood will bathe the cells directly and exchange material. The muscular movements of the arthropod will bring the blood back into the spaces, and it will then collect in the heart so that it could pass through again. It has the one-way digestive tract, which we've talked about before, a mouth and an anus. It does go through sexual reproduction, and you can see the different male and female parts when we look at the dissections and we look at the pictures. It does have gills or a tracheal system for the respiratory system. Okay? As far as the gills go, that's for aquatic species. The tracheal system is for the land species, or the terrestrial species. Insects are exposed to dry air, and that can't diffuse very nicely. It's not enough moisture to draw in. So the air has to enter through a spiracle. And the spiracle is a pore that opens and closes to regulate airflow and limits water loss. It will then pass into the trachea. It will then go into tracheoles, which is the smallest branch of the trachea. And that's where it contains the moisture. So then oxygen can pass through the cells through diffusion. Okay, so this is just showing you the sexes. This is a female. This is called an ovipositor that will help for digging. And this is the male. Okay, as far as the swimmerets go, the last swimmerets are much larger for a male than they are for a female. And again, the tracheal system is the respiratory system for land arthropods. Air is going to enter into the spiracle, pass into the trachea, into the tracheoles, and then it's because it's moist, it can then pass through the cells through diffusion. And you'll get to see this as we do the dissections. The gills are kind of neat because they are attached to the walking leg, so they will help in moving. Okay, the excretory system. We're going to talk differently for land and aquatic species. So, as far as the grasshopper goes, all right, they cannot secrete ammonia because they have to conserve water in their bodily fluids. So instead, they secrete uric acid, which is an insoluble crystal that does not dissolve in water. So it does not enter into chemical reactions with other fluids. And it can be concentrated in the body without interfering with their metabolism. Okay? Malpighian tubules are attached to the intestine of the grasshopper. They're string-like excretory structures that has blood entering and passing through. And then the needed materials in the water is reabsorbed. And again, they have the anus because it's a one-way digestive system. Now, the crayfish can secrete ammonia. And the excretory pore that it comes out of is right on the top of the head, smack between the eyes. Solid waste will leave the intestine and pass through the anus. Okay, so again, they live in water, they don't need to conserve water. Now the nervous system, we're getting a little more complex. Okay, there's a brain, there's the nerve cord that's going to receive info from sensing organs. Antenna senses sound, odor, touch, taste. Simple eyes gather visual images. Compound eyes are multiple lenses, and it allows arthropods to view images from all around at the same time. Okay, so we have a couple of main divisions. We have the chelicerates, which are arachnids, spiders, scorpions, ticks, mites, and horseshoe crabs. Most of these are found on land. We have two main body divisions. We have the cephalothorax, which is the head and upper body with legs, and then we have the abdomen, which contains the internal organs. All right, they don't have antennae. They have simple eyes. They have 6 pairs of appendages. 4 are for walking, and 2 are what are called pincers and fangs. Okay. Just a little fun fact, a bird-eating spider eats birds and small animals, the horseshoe crab. Horseshoe crab is more closely related to the spider than other crabs. All right, mandibules are your crayfish, centipedes, millipedes, insects. They have jaws or mandibles, which are for chewing food. They have a maxillae, which holds food and passes it to the mandibles. They have antennas, which is a segmented sense organ on the head. Okay, they have 3 or more pairs of walking legs. And we do have 4 classes. The crustaceans are crabs, lobsters, shrimps, and they have about 10 to 20 pairs of legs. Diplopods are the millipedes. Okay, chelopods are the centipedes, and insects would be our grasshopper. Millipedes are more worm-like with a number of walking legs that are shorter. They do have 2 pairs of walking legs per segment. They do eat decaying leaf matter. Okay. The chelopods are the centipedes, and they are a little more fast-moving with longer legs and a longer stride. And they do have a poisonous claw on the anterior part to help paralyze the prey. Just a fun fact, killer bees are originally from Africa and advanced north through Mexico at 300 miles per year. So if you guys have any questions, see me tomorrow in class. Thanks.